everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Study with Soumya. Make sure to subscribe this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Right, this channel is definitely going to be very helpful for you. Right, also do join us at our Telegram channel. The link for the Telegram channel is provided in the description itself. So in the continuation of our important Python interview questions, this is the second video. This is the part 2 of important Python interview questions. If you haven't watched the previous video, that is part 1, so I would request you that please do watch part 1 and then watch this video. So in this video we will cover various important Python interview questions that are definitely going to be asked or may be asked in your interview questions, right? So let's start with the video now. So here is our first question, that which sorting technique is used by sort and sorted functions of Python. We generally know about these functions, that is sort and sorted, but we are not aware of that which sorting algorithm is being used for these Python functions, that is sort and sorted, right? So timsort algorithm is used for sorting in Python. Okay, so make sure that you are aware of it, because there are high chances that this sort of question can be asked in your interview. So it is a stable sorting algorithm with worst case is big O and log n. So this is the worst case of timsort algorithm. It's a derived sorting algorithm from merge sort and insertion sort. So it is derived from these two sorting algorithms, that is merge sort and insertion sort. What is the time complexity of merge sort? It is big O and log n. In the comment section you have to tell me the time complexity of insertion sort, right? So make sure to comment. It performs well on many kinds of real world data. Okay. Next question is, why Python is called a dynamically typed language? Before doing the further discussion regarding that why Python is called a dynamically typed language, first you should be aware of that what is a dynamically typed language. So dynamically typed language is a language where type of data is determined during runtime, right? In the runtime itself, the type of data is determined. For example, in programming languages like C, C++, we have to first determine the type of our data, like is int x, float y, like this. But in Python, you don't have to specify the type of your data. So if you are writing something like this, x equal to 2, so in the runtime itself, Python will determine that this x is of integer type. If we are writing y equal to 2.3, so here you can see in Python we generally do write like this, we don't determine the type. So in the runtime itself, the type of this particular y variable will be determined that it is floating type. So that's why Python is called a dynamically typed language. Just a quick tip that I would like to give you all. The thing is that you don't have to memorize the definition. Just try to understand the concept and accordingly frame the answer. Also you can give examples like this which I give. You can give the examples to make your answer more beautiful, right? So by the example itself you can determine. So this is why Python is called a dynamically typed language. Let me show you the kind of small implementation in the Python itself so that it can be more clear for you. For example, we are taking a variable s equal to 12.0, t equal to 89, u equal to study, right? So now here we are not specifying the type of these variables. Now if you will check the type of these variables, that is print type of s, print. Also be aware of this function, that is type function. So they can ask you that by using which function you can determine the type of your object, right? So type function determines that what is the type of our data. So print type of u, right? So let's run our code to confirm the same. So s is going to be of float type, t is going to be of integer type, and u is going to be of string type. So let's run the code. So you can see we are getting float, int, str, right? So that is the thing. Now they can ask you these sort of questions also, some practical questions also. So don't always expect that they will ask you theoretical questions only. So the question is, Determine the output of the following statements. So by using these statements, I want to clarify some concepts for you. So here a string study with Soumya is given to us. Right now we have to determine the output of these particular statements written here. So here basically we are using slicing operator. Right. So this is slicing operators generally take three arguments, that is begin index, end index, and third one is step. By default, if you won't mention anything, so begin is 0 and is the length of the string given to us, and step is 1. This is when a step is positive, right? If in the case step is negative, so what is the default type of begin? It is going to be minus ka 1, and end is going to be length of our string plus 1 minus ka length of s plus 1. And see, if the step is positive, so we will consider the index up to end minus 1 only. So whatever end index is mentioned here, it won't be included in a substring sequence that we get from this string, right? So for example, here it is given 6 is the starting index, 0 is the beginning index. Sorry, 6 is the starting index, 0 is the end index, right? And here they haven't mentioned the step, so by default step is going to be 1 itself. Now just tell me one thing. So which is the begin index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this I is at the 6th index, right? Now just tell me one thing. Can from I you can move to this direction? Is it possible? When the step is positive. Here our step is positive. So in positive steps we move from left to right. Right? So this is not possible. So what will be our output? We are going to get an error? No. We will get an empty sequence or an empty string we are going to get. Okay. Next question is that we are going begin index they have given 4 and index they have given minus 1. Right? So end index is minus 1. And step also they have given minus 1. So this is minus 1. Okay. So can we go from 4 to minus 1? Is it possible? In the backward direction, whenever the step is negative, we have to move in backward direction like this. That is from right to left. So can we do like this? Can we go from 4 to minus 1? If we will follow the backward direction, that is right to left, this is not possible, right? So for this also we are going to get an empty string. So just a note you can take, if end index is 0 in positive step, when the step is positive, so what is going to be your output? Empty string. And if end is equal to minus 1 in negative step, when the step is negative, so what is going to be our output? Empty string, right? So make sure to note down these things. Next question, next statement is print 7, 3, minus 1. So 7 index is this one, 3 is this one, right? Now we have to move from 7 to 3. We can move in backward direction. We have to move because the step is negative. Now I have already told you that when the step is negative, we have to consider end plus 1. When the step is negative, we have to consider from end plus 1. So here end is given 3. So we will consider the sequence up to 4 because end plus 1 is going to give us 4. So 7 to 4 is going to give us T, I, W, Y. So this is going to be our output. T, I, W, Y. This is going to be our output. Next question we have. So here in this statement, we are moving from 3 to 6 and the step is 1, that is positive. So 3 starts from here. So we are going to get D, Y, W. Because in positive index, we have to cover up to end minus 1 only. So this 6 won't be included. So what is going to be our output? D, Y, W. Here, what should be the output? Here we have taken the step as 0. So this is going to throw an error. Always remember that step cannot be 0. This is a very, very important point. Step cannot be 0 in slicing operator. So it is going to throw an error. I hope now you are clear with the slicing operator thing and how to approach these questions. Let's move to the next question now. Next question is very common question that explain list comprehension and also give an example. So list comprehension is what? It is an amazing approach that we do have in Python only. What it provides to us, so it helps us to create a new list based on the values of an existing list or sequence, right? So let me show you the practical implementation in the PyCharm itself so that it can be more clear for you. For example, we are having a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we want to create another list from this particular list only. So what we can do? li1 equal to, so first you have to use this square brackets. Now I want to create a list which is a square of the elements present in this li. So what I can do? I into I for I in li, right? So here we are iterating to each and every element present in the li and we are multiplying the element by itself so that we can get the square. Now here we will print li1, right? So this is what? This is an example of list comprehension. So let's run the code. So you can see here we are getting 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Okay. Also guys, if you are liking the content, then make sure to like, make sure to subscribe and share with your friends as well, because sharing is caring. Okay. Next question we have is what is slicing in Python? So we already discussed about slicing. So what is slicing? Slicing is a mechanism where we can select a specified range of items from a given sequence, like a sequence can be list, tuple or string. So don't think that slicing is for string only. We can implement the slicing on other sequences as well. So it is important, right? It is very important and easy to get elements from a range by using slice way. We already discussed that what is the funda for slicing. If you want to do the slicing, so first it will take 3 arguments, that is begin, end and the steps. Right, we already discussed about this. So now you can frame the words accordingly. Next question we have that what is a dictionary in Python? Generally asked question, you will get the question on this. So Python dictionary is a built-in data type, right? So it refers to a one-to-one relationship between keys and values. So a dictionary is something like this. A key is given and a value is associated with it, right? Dictionaries possess a pair of keys and their corresponding values. So with a key, a value is associated. Elements are stored in key and value pairs. The keys should be unique, whereas value can be duplicated. So here they have given that you can have that you should have unique key, although values can be duplicated. Now just tell me one thing. One question they can ask you. See, set is also something like this, right? Set also you must have seen 1, 2, 3 like this in Python. Dictionary also uses this curly brackets. Now if I am writing D equal to curly brackets, so it is a set or dictionary? Respond guys. It is going to be considered as a dictionary because set is rarely used. Set is rarely used in Python. So now if you want to define a set, what to do? So you have to do, if you want to define an empty set, what to do? So you have to write something like this, s equal to, and then you have to use this set function. Okay. So this is a kind of tricky question that they can ask you. That's why I included this. So next question is, suppose we have duplicate keys with different values in dictionary. I forgot to write. So in dictionary. Okay, so they are saying that in a dictionary we have duplicate keys with different values. So what will happen? Is it going to throw an error? Right? And if you are saying that it is not going to throw an error, then what will happen? Okay, so let's see what will happen. Suppose we are having a dictionary like this. 12, value associated with this is 44. 55, value associated with this is 67. Another key 12 and the value associated with this is 48. Now if I am doing print, suppose the dictionary name is D of 12, right? So D of 12 is certainly, if you will do, it will give you the value of the associated with this particular key 12. So now what will happen? Is it going to throw an error? And if you are saying that it won't throw an error, so what will be the output? So output is going to be 48. So always remember, dictionary cannot have duplicate keys. So what it will do, the previous relation which it was having. So previously 44 was associated with 12, but now as if here we are having a duplicate key and we have updated the value as 48. So this relation won't be existed if you will print D if you will do. So we will get 55, 67 and 12 colon 48 only. This relation won't be existed. If you want to see the practical implementation, then let me show you the same in PyCharm also. So for example, we are having a key 12, 44, 55, 67, 12, 48. Right. So now if I am doing print D, so what should be the output? Also, let me print D of 12. So let's run the code. So you can see now this relation, this particular 44 value that was associated with 12 has been removed from the dictionary, and we are having 12 colon 48 and 55 colon 67. And the value which we are getting for this particular key 12 is 48, right? So always make sure to be ready for this kind of logical, or I should say tricky questions. Okay. So guys, if this video has helped you and if you really liked my explanation, then make sure to subscribe this channel, share this channel. Keep learning guys, keep practicing. Bye bye. Thanks for watching this video.